You've been told to hustle until you burn out. But what if your greatest obstacle isn't a lack of effort, but the way you view the struggle itself? What if the secret to overcoming anything was buried in the mud? In this video, we're peeling back layers of a lost Japanese philosophy, the samurai's Lotus Method. We're moving beyond toxic productivity to uncover a 1,000-year-old blueprint for mental toughness. You'll learn how to stop fighting discomfort, rewire your brain for resilience, and finally transform your biggest challenges into your greatest strength. But first, we have to address why the modern world has led us down the wrong path. Section 1, the Western misconception. Why do we always feel like we are failing? We are told to hustle. We are told to grind until we break. Every morning, we wake up and fight the urge to quit. We fight the bed. We fight the resistance. We think this struggle is a sign of weakness. We think we are doing something wrong. But here is a hard truth. Maybe the struggle is not the problem. Maybe the way we try to escape the struggle is the problem. In the West, we call this hustle culture. It tells us to bypass the pain. It tells us to take the shortcut. But look at your own life. How many times have you quit because it got hard? It is not your fault. It is just the wrong map. You are trying to avoid the mud. But the mud is where life begins. Have you ever wondered why you feel so drained despite working so hard? Is it possible that your pursuit of ease is actually making your life harder? Let's rethink what effort really means. Section 2. Redefining the lotus. The Japanese core. Let's shift our perspective. Imagine a flower growing in the darkest, dirtiest pond you can find. It is surrounded by mud and decay. Most people would say this is the worst place for a flower to bloom. But in Japan, we see it differently. We see the lotus as the symbol of the Buddha. It is a sacred flower. It represents purity rising from the impossible. We call this Deichu-ren. It translates to the lotus in the mud. Ancient Japanese wisdom teaches us a vital lesson here. The mud is not an enemy to be avoided. It is not something to be feared. The mud is, in fact, the essential fertilizer for the soul. Without the thick, dark mud, the lotus could never reach the light. Without the struggle, the flower would never have the strength to rise. We have forgotten this in our modern world. We want the sacred bloom, but we refuse the mud. We want the success, but we hate the work. But look closely at the flower. It does not bloom in spite of the mud. It blooms because of it. It takes all that dirt and darkness, and it turns it into pure beauty. It transforms the struggle into its own foundation. This is the core of the Japanese spirit. It is not about avoiding the tough parts of life. It is about understanding that the tough parts are where your growth is waiting for you. Section 3. The warrior's path. Benkei's transformation. Now, let's look at a man who lived in the mud of history. His name was Benkei. In 12th century Japan, he was a giant. He was a wild, stubborn monk warrior. He spent his days picking fights. He bullied everyone who crossed his path. He was pure physical chaos. But then he met his match. He challenged a young samurai named Yoshitsune. They were total opposites. Benkei was a massive, hulking force. Yoshitsune was small, quick, and light on his feet. Like a shadow, the young samurai danced around Benkei's heavy swings. For the first time, the giant lost. He was defeated, humbled, and brought to his knees. Most people would have become bitter. They would have carried that anger like a heavy stone. But Benkei did something unexpected. He bowed. He pledged his loyalty to the small man who beat him. From that moment, Benkei's life changed. He walked a new path. He endured long, freezing nights. He faced brutal battles and constant hunger. He spent years in the mud of discipline. Why did he do it? Because he stopped seeing the pain as a punishment. He started seeing it as a teacher. Every scar was a lesson. Every hardship made him stronger. Benkei transformed his wild, destructive energy into the disciplined power of a legend. He realized that the greatest warrior is not the one who never loses. The greatest warrior is the one who uses every failure as a step toward his true self. Section 4. Neuroscience meets Bushido. Do you think the samurai were just lucky? Do you think they were born with endless focus? Think again. What they practiced was a form of Shugyo, or disciplined training. And today, modern science has a name for what they were doing. It is called neuroplasticity. It simply means that your brain is not fixed. It is like a muscle. It changes based on what you do. When you choose the hard path, you are not just getting work done. You are literally rewiring your brain. The samurai knew this long before we had MRI scans. Every time they practiced a sword strike, they were building new pathways. Every time they sat in silence, they were training their focus. They understood that the brain follows the action. If you stay in your comfort zone, your brain gets lazy. It craves ease. But when you challenge yourself, your brain adapts. It creates a stronger, more resilient version of itself. This is why the Lotus Method works. It is not just a philosophy. It is a biological protocol. It is a way to force your brain to upgrade itself. Are you starting to see the connection? Your struggle is not a burden. It is the most powerful tool you have to change who you are at a neural level. Section 5. Nintai, the samurai patience. Now, let's talk about the first step of our method, Nintai. In English, we often translate this as patience, but that doesn't do it justice. Nintai is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It is not about gritting your teeth and suffering in silence. It is an active, powerful state of mind. Think of it as the art of holding space for discomfort. When a hard task hits you, what is your first instinct? You want to escape. You want to check your phone. You want to distract yourself. Nintai is the moment you choose not to run. You sit with the discomfort. You observe the urge to quit, and you let it be. You breathe through the tension. Imagine yourself as a seed buried deep in the mud. The seed doesn't panic. It doesn't ask when the sun will come out. It just exists in the dark, gathering strength, waiting for the right moment. By doing this, you build what scientists call psychological flexibility. You are teaching your brain that you don't have to react to every impulse. You are in the driver's seat. When you stop fighting the feeling loses its power over you. Nintai is the seat of endurance. It is where all growth begins. Section 6. Shisei the body as a vessel. Once you have endured the initial friction, we move to the second step, Shisei. In Japanese, Shisei literally means posture, but it means so much more. It is your stance, your alignment, and your intention. Think about it. When you are tired or stressed, what happens to your body? You slouch. You drop your head. You look small. Your brain sees this posture and thinks, we are giving up. Modern psychology calls this embodied cognition. Your physical state tells your mind what to think. If you want to change your mind, you must start by changing your body. The samurai knew that a sloppy posture leads to a sloppy spirit. Before they faced an opponent, they didn't just sharpen their blades, they sharpened their stance. They stood tall. They breathed from their core. They moved with purpose, even if they were terrified inside. Have you ever noticed how your mood shifts just by straightening your back? Do you think it's possible that your lack of focus is actually a result of how you are sitting right now? Try this today. Before you start that hard thing, pause. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Open your chest. Breathe deep. By changing your shisei, you are telling your brain, I am here and I am in control. Section 7, Kansho, the mirror of the soul. Now we arrive at the third stage, Kansho. In English, we call this observation or reflection. But in the context of the Lotus Method, it is deeper. It is the practice of looking at your true nature with the clarity of a polished blade. Most of us, when we reflect on our day, we get caught in a trap. We focus on our mistakes. We beat ourselves up. We say, I'm not good enough, or I failed again. That is not Kansho. That is just self-criticism. True Kansho is about detachment. It is like standing on a mountain and looking down at the path you just walked. You don't judge the path. You just see it for what it is. You ask, what did I struggle with today? What did I learn from the mud? When you track your wins and losses without emotion, your brain begins to connect the dots. You start to see patterns in your behavior. You realize that your lack of discipline was actually just a lack of awareness. By observing yourself, you take the power away from your insecurities. You are no longer the one failing. You are the one watching the process of growth. It is a quiet, powerful act. It's a mirror that shows you not who you should be, but exactly who you are. Section 8, Kaka, the bloom of identity. Now we reach the most beautiful part of the journey, Kaka, or the flowering. Do you remember when you first started? Everything felt like a heavy chore. The discipline felt like a cage. You had to force yourself to sit, to breathe, to focus. But something shifts as you keep practicing. The mud stops being a nuisance and becomes your home. You stop thinking, I have to do this, and start feeling, this is who I am. This is the bloom. It is the moment the hard work stops being a task and becomes your identity. Imagine a master craftsman at his workbench. He does not struggle to hold his tools. He does not fight his fatigue. His movements are natural, effortless, and precise. That is Kaka. When you reach this stage, you no longer need to rely on willpower. Your habits have become your nature. The things you once found hard, waking up early, staying focused, enduring stress, are now the things that make you feel alive. You have successfully turned the mud of your struggle into the soil of your strength. You are no longer just a person trying to change. You are the lotus rooted in the darkness, but blooming in the light of your own potential. Section 9. The Modern Shugyo Challenge. Theory is just a dream. Action is reality. You want to bloom? Then you must enter the mud. I am giving you a 7-day Shugyo plan. This is not about adding more work to your life. It is about changing how you carry the work you already have. For these 7 days, you will practice the 3 pillars: Nintai, Shisei, and Kansho. Day 1, start with your Shisei. Spend 5 minutes every morning sitting in absolute stillness. Fix your back, breathe from your core, and observe the noise in your mind. Day 2, choose one thing you usually avoid: the mud. A difficult email, a workout, a hard conversation. Do it first without complaining. Practice Nintai. Day 3, when the resistance hits, don't run. Notice the impulse to quit, and stay with it for just 1 extra minute. Day 4, practice Kansho. At night, write down where you felt the most friction today. Be honest, but be kind. Day 5, combine them. Sit in stillness, do the hard thing, and reflect. Day 6, repeat the cycle. Day 7, look at your week. You will see that the mud was never trying to stop you. It was trying to build you. Are you ready to begin your first day of Shugyo? Tomorrow morning, your Kaka begins. Section 10. Final call, rising from the mud. We have reached the end. You have learned the way of the samurai, the science of the brain, and the art of the lotus. But remember this: you don't need a perfect environment to grow. You don't need more time, more money, or fewer problems. You only need the mud you are standing in right now. The modern world tells you to seek comfort. It tells you to wait for the right time. But the samurai knew a different truth. The mud is not in the way of your life. The mud is your life. Every challenge you face today is a seed. Every difficult moment is an opportunity for your Kaka. So do not run from it. Do not hide from it. Embrace the tension. Straighten your back. Look at your nature with clarity and start your work. You are the lotus. The darkness will not hold you back. It will lift you up. Your time to bloom is not tomorrow. It is not when things get easier. It is right now. Go into the mud and let your Kaka begin.